Hello and welcome to World Talks here on TVP World with me, Ashim Kumar. Unlawful attacks, particularly those which hurt children, are designed to sow terror and panic among the civilian population. The sense of impunity that the perpetrators enjoy must end. So said Patrick Thompson, Amnesty International's Ukraine researcher. War crimes perpetrated by the Russian military under Putin's leadership have been happening since the start of the war. As one example, we're reminded of the massacre of Ukrainian civilians and prisoners of war by the Russian armed forces during the occupation of the city of Bucha in early 2022. According to local authorities, 458 bodies were recovered from the town, including 9 children under the age of 18. Will the criminals who committed and ordered these atrocities ever be brought to justice, and if so, by whom? To explore this question, we're joined by Andreas Umland. He's an analyst with Swedish Institute of International Affairs. Mr. Umland, welcome back to TVP World. Thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for having me again.
Right, we have a short video which we'd like to share before we start our conversation. Absolutely heartbreaking, but sadly not unique since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Mr. Umland. Now, the European Union Agency for Criminal Justice Cooperation has said that they've collected more than 3,000 files associated with potential war crimes in Ukraine. Well, the evidence seems to be mounting. How is this translated into legal action and punishment?
So far, what we have is only the action by the International Criminal Court that are now put on the wanting list. People like Vladimir Putin, the so-called Children Rights Commissioner of Russia, Maria Lvova-Belova, the former Defense Minister Shoigu, and others, but so far we are largely only in this data collection and documentation phase, and the real action so far has not happened, as far as I know. So far, it's only on the level of declarations and judgments, not by courts, but by commentators, by journalists, by analysts, and so on. So far, it's largely rhetorical.
Rhetorical indeed. Now, we'll come back to the legal elements of this. But, you know, there's Putin sitting in Russia and his cronies, Shoigu and others, who's saying, well, we don't really care very much. We're friends with China and Iran and North Korea, and we still can go to Turkey. We can live life as normal. It doesn't make any difference today, does it? Will that change?
That's a good question, and it's a question basically about the entire international order that has emerged after 1945, and where the International Criminal Court and similar courts are pillars of this order. And now it looks as if these institutions are being undermined, like before the UN Security Council the nuclear non-proliferation regime. This is a wholesale attack on the whole international order that is currently in place. In this case, the legal order. And whether we will indeed see justice is so far difficult to say, because if countries like China or India will support Russia in that, then indeed this may be the end of this UN-based order, and then something new will emerge, and then one fears that people like Putin may get away without ever being judged by a court.
So is this basically a free license for other dictators and war criminals? They say, well, nothing really happens. You know, they can't do anything with me anyway. So it's business as usual for them.
Yeah, I think this is the danger, that this is not only about Ukraine and the crimes committed there, but also about other Russian crimes, and as you rightly mentioned, also by current and future crimes by similar people in other countries and in other regions of the world. And then one would also have to ask those countries that are currently undermining the existing international order, what kind of order they have in mind, and whether it will be then simply the jungle where might is right, and even mass murderers and people who commit genocide can get away and will be free to travel across the continents and will enjoy their lives.
Well, it's a chilling thought indeed. Now, we've been talking about the leaders, Mr. Umland. What about the actual perpetrators on the ground, the soldiers? Any chance of them being brought to justice?
So far, it's very difficult to say, or it's actually not yet feasible, because as long as they don't leave Russia and as long as they only visit countries that are allied to Russia, they will not be brought to justice. And as long as there is no change of regime in Russia, or no breaking apart of the Russian state, Russia will be like sheltering and providing refuge, so to say, for these criminals. But I think it still makes sense now to document that and to publish it and to create databases and to do academic research on that, and to have at least on the record for a different period, for, so to say, another time.
Indeed, many lessons to be learned, and we hope that the global legal infrastructure can be put in place to bring such criminals to justice swiftly. Mr. Umland, unfortunately, we have to end our conversation here. Thank you very much indeed for taking the time to join us. Have a good day, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And that's all from us on this episode of World Talks. Goodbye for now.